Hello guys, this is JohnRemus.com TV checking in. Wanted to address the issue of sexuality and making an effort to turn it into something wholesome for people in the world, and to contrast what might be a positive, respectful, and quality way of dealing with one's desires and the relationship we have into the world and each other. I'd like to showcase something like this, which is like an art item in a men's bathroom implicating women making a derogatory gesture about men's genitals, and often the same is done with women and their breast size. And you know, such things like this, for example, which is a portrait hinting at male genitals again. I'm trying to show, and the same thing that goes on in many nightclubs and so on. I'm trying to show what's going on and why it's very possible to have things be wholesome and good. And that all starts with deciding that it's not just my body, like this body, but it's our body. Every person's body, everyone you look at, it's all our body. And so how do we respect that body, respect one another, but respect it as if our future incarnations could be whoever they might be. Anyone could have been anyone. And how do we perfect the body? We can, of course, there's selective breeding, you know, natural selection, which occurs. But how about something more conscious? Like, for example, I'm going to name 10 things here that I think will help to fine-tune people and make them feel not only more confident about themselves, whether or not they would say they have attractive body or characteristics and whatnot. I'm going to help everyone to have that additional sense of confidence and certainty about who they are, being more than their body, but also wanting people to have a good time in life with their bodies. So number one, that in different environments, people might misuse their bodies, seduce each other, and play these games. And it is a game in a way. The idea of a boy or girl friend, it's kind of a game. It's not a man or a woman. It's, you know, it's about semantics here. You know, it's like, how do you describe people? Do you, oh, she looks attractive, I want her, or oh, you know, I might be willing to pay money for a prostitute, or being at a strip club, you might hope that, oh, maybe if I pay her extra, she'll be able to give me a favor, like an HJ handjob or oral sex, or even a lap dance. These are all forms of physical intimacy. And even people who get married, it might be under the premise of that they're just physically attracted to each other. And so number one, I'm going to give 10 here, right? The first thing to consider is that a lot of people find each other appealing and desirable. And you know, you might think that because maybe you don't have a certain body or traits that people wouldn't find you desirable. The truth being that people do like each other, and you know, women are attracted to men who with like perhaps smaller peepees or smaller muscles, or they're shorter men. And the same with, by the way, number two being that, you know, women, it's just as important for them to have a tight VV, quote unquote, healthy VV, and just as the men to be able to have an erection, be able to have and have a healthy, you can take good care of your body and sex organs with oiling and regular, satisfaction, self-intimacy. That has to do with self-control. I'm putting it all on the table here. I'm suggesting that, like I was saying, one, people are attracted to each other, and men, probably including myself, whether the breasts or ass is big or small. Like, the thing with the ass though is it's important to have wide hips though, so the childbirth is comfortable if you're interested in having children. And so number one is that there's variety and people do find each other attractive. Number two is that we should not be upset at people for what they have, but rather for misusing it. Like, for example, if you happen to have a nice body or qualities, or even wealth or money, whatever, and you use it to seduce others, then it's like, what's the point? It's childish. It's lacking in self-control, and it hints at that if you instead used your energy and your body to give it to your dream mate, that would be a real serious commitment, an adult, mature thing to do. Love being commitment. That's the science of love. It's commitment. And number three is that, say you don't find your body attractive, right? Or your sex organs or whatever. Guess what? All you have to do is think long term. Think, 50, 100 years from now, I'll be in another body, reincarnated. What do I want to look like? Look at a couple that you find attractive and say, hey, I'll invest my time or money in them. They'll have children, and in their future, my reincarnation's more likely to be that type of body, that their grandchildren are the ones who you invested in. Their grandchildren might be you, right? This is like a future reality here. And what's also real, number four, is the idea that who are you trying to impress, right? Like, when let's say you think it's important to have a certain body or riches, whatever, who are you trying to impress? First of all, the idea of impressing has to do with emotionality, and so just breathing and that's how to relax and feel good about life and find purpose, and so on and so forth. Do your work, whatever you do to activate your chakras, but who you're trying to impress should be yourself and your dream mate. And the danger is when you let somebody else have power over you by wanting them to, with their body, seduce you or pleasure you. And so you want to activate your own second chakra via orgasm, masturbation, and that allows you to have control over your own body. Sometimes it's hard to even think or have clear awareness if you're, haven't had an orgasm, on a regular basis, and so that's important. It's important to, number five, really think about what goes on in the world. What type of world do you want to live in? Do you think it's respectful to pay somebody to have physical intimacy with them? To think about it like this: somebody you really cared about, would you pay them to do that? Or if you're a prostitute? Would you give your body to do that? First of all, it's a waste of your time. I mean, it's like certain scenarios in which the person's actually poor and, you know, it's a bad situation. But the reality is people who care about each other don't do that. And the irony is that you wouldn't want to have sex with or seduce somebody who you really cared about. And so something to bring to the forefront there. I like the idea. This is number 5, right? So I like the idea of, you know, why can't say you go to a strip club, why can't the dancers be married? That way there's no sexual tension. It's just, wow, you know, the human art experience, great, but there's nothing beyond that, you know, because really it should be about the art and not about any tensions of, oh, hopefully I might like them, or the dancer hopefully thinking that they might be attracted to me. And I also like the idea of hand jobs for men and women. I think that would be a nice part of an erotic massage, and the massage therapist could be they could be, you know, just persons of the opposite sex, but also married, so there wouldn't be any thinking like, you know, and number 6 is asking the reason of, you know, how do we make each other feel good? And the way to do that is to respect each other. And part of that has to do with not thinking that, oh, you know, I hope this person's attracted to me, or maybe they're attracted to me, or what can I do to make myself attractive to them? Be clear, you know, and you don't have to have physical intimacy with someone in order to find out about them. You know, number 6 here is really want somebody to decide that, you know what, this person I'm attracted to. I want them to, you know, want to give oral sex to you, physical intercourse, and so on, you know, and don't hope or pretend that you might like each other or find each other attractive. Don't make that an unknown, you know, make that clear. You can do that with video chat or email. Discuss, you know, what do we think about each other, you know? And so that's what you want to do. You want to put yourself in a strong position where you're not hoping that someone's wishing they would like you or wanting them to like you. Like sometimes what happens in power, sex, money dynamic is maybe you're thinking that, you know, an older person or younger person might like you because you have a lot of money, for example. But really that would only be that person liking you for your money, because they can't make their own money. And so it just creates an unhealthy power dynamic. And with the right person, the right dream mate, quote unquote, that it's somebody you'd rather be with, even more so than maybe a younger person that you would find attractive. And I'm actually going to conclude there. I feel like six concepts there are useful to making a more positive and wholesome experience in this life. Thanks for considering.